Hello my lovelies, welcome back to my channel. This is your girl Angel from Simply Angel Tia, and in this video I'm going to show you guys how to crochet these simple booty shorts. And as you can see here, they're going to be definitely on the shorter side, which is why we call it booty shorts. So if you're interested in making something like this, please stay tuned on the video, and you can either follow along or you can just watch it so you can kind of understand how to do something like this before you go and get your materials and get started with your own pair of booty shorts like these ones. Okay, but for now, let's not waste any more time talking. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, my lovelies, so before we go ahead and get started, I'm going to show you all the materials I'm using for this project. And for yarn, I'm using this navy blue yarn here. It's a lightweight number 3 and it's 100% acrylic. I'm using 4.25 millimeter crochet hook or G6 US. I have my darning needle here. I have my scissors as well as a tape measure to be able to determine the size. Okay. All right. So with everything we have in front of our work table, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, my lovelies. So we're gonna go ahead and get started with the project. And as you can see here, I'm leaving a little bit of a long tail for us to be able to join the two sides of the band, because we're creating the band of the shorts first, and then we're going to work down, not walk but work down the project. But we're going to leave a tail like this so that we can use it to join the two sides together. Okay, so we're going to start off with a slip knot, and this is how I do my slip knot here. Okay, I'll take my hook, put it in a circle, and then yarn over and go through, and then release and pull. Okay, now that I have my slip knot there, I'm going to start by doing a chain of 15. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so that is our chain of 15 here. And this is going to be the width of the band of the shorts. So keep in mind, even though the chain seems this long, it's actually going to shrink a little bit when we work our first row of the stitches into it. But for now it does look like it's long, but I will show you what I mean by that. So we're going to skip this first stitch here right after the chain 1. And in the back of the second stitch, we're going to do a single crochet. Okay, so we're just going to grab the back of that chain and do a single crochet. For some reason, the first one is always a little bit challenging, but it gets easy. And then you're going to go into the next one and do the single crochet. And then go into the next, and then you're using the back lump, the back of the chains to do your single crochet. Okay, and you're going to do this all the way to the end. When you get to the end of this row, you're going to come back and I will show you how to start this second row, which is a repeat row for this part of the project. Okay, so go ahead and do so and join me when you have reached the end here. Okay, my lovelies, I've reached the end of the first row, and as you can see, this is the row of single crochet. And we're going to start our second row, which is a repeat row, and we're going to chain 1 and turn. And then we're going to work our single crochet stitches in the back loop of the previous row. So on each and every single stitch, you're going to grab the back loop and do your single crochet. And we will repeat that one here because somehow it did not work. And you're going to do this until you have the final one at the end. And usually for the final one, I go through both loops as opposed to just the back loop. And again, that's just a preference. You don't have to do the same. You could just go through the back loop for all 14 stitches. The 14 stitches you have here is what you should maintain for this part of the work, which is creating the band of the shorts. So make sure you're counting every now and then to make sure you did not drop a stitch somehow by mistake, or picked up a stitch or doubled up somewhere to have an extra stitch. So make sure there are always 14 stitches as you work through this part of the project. Okay, so second row here, which is a repeat row, I'm just kind of coming to the end, and when I get to the end, I'll go through both loops and then I'll chain 1 and turn. And for for the rest of the project, we just repeat the same thing. Not the rest of the project, but the rest of this part of the project. Okay, so as you can see here, I have a final stitch. I'm going to go through both loops and do my single crochet just like so. Okay, so that is the second row completed. So this is pretty much what you do until the end. I am going to create the length that when fully stretched, it's going to come up to about 38 inches. And the 38 inches is the circumference of the widest part of my hips. So you measure the widest part of your hip first, and if you want it to be a little bit loose, add an inch here or 2 inches there. If you want it to be tight, then make sure you have the exact same measurement. And when you work your band here, this part of the project is going to be extremely stretchy. So keep stretching it every couple of, every 10 rows or so, and measure it to make sure that you're going to fit the circumference of the widest part of your hip. So I'm going to do about 38 inches long, because that is the widest part of my hip. And then when I have that, I'm going to come back. Usually with this pattern here and this size of yarn, it's about 112, 114 rows that I have to complete to get that that length that I'm looking for. Okay, so because acrylic yarn is very stretchy in some way, it's with some of them it will actually be really stretchy if I extend the number of the 112, 114 rows. When I really pull it, it's gonna give me my about 38 inches. Okay, all right, so go ahead and complete this. When you have your band completed, come back and I will show you guys how to move on to the next part of these booty shorts. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay, my loves, I've gone ahead and completed 112 rows for the band. So this does bring me to the 38 inches that I'm looking for. So it's quite long, as you can see here. And then when you fold it, obviously this is going to be the band of the shorts here. But it is quite stretchy. So as you can see here, if I really pull it, it's super, super stretchy, okay? All right, so hopefully you have the length that is suitable for your size. And when you do have that, we're going to then move on to the next step, and this, which is to join the two sides as I mentioned previously. So we're going to join these two sides like this. And for what we do first is we bring in our darning needle, and we have the little string that we left hanging on purpose, and you just put that into your darning needle, and then you're going to start to join the two sides together. Okay, and to do that, as you can see here, I know this color is a little bit dark, so just pay attention. And I'm making it so that you guys can actually see it clear as I can here. So there's the first stitch right here. You're going to go through both loops like this, and you're going to also grab both loops of the first stitch on the other side, and then you're going to pull. Okay, and you're going to repeat that in the same stitch once again, and this is going to just make it a little bit more stronger. Okay, now that you have that, you're going to start joining these stitches with each other, and since you have 14 stitches, in the next 13 stitches here, because we just worked on our first one, you should be able to have it all lined up properly to the end. And for here, we're going to grab the inside loop of the second stitch and then the outside loop of the second stitch on the other side, and we're going to pull. Okay, and then we're going to repeat that in the next stitch. Just make sure you're grabbing the inside loop on this side and the outside loop on the other side, and when you have that all nicely lined up, you pull. And don't pull too much, just a little bit. The inside loop on this side and the outside loop on the other side. Okay, and you're going to do this all the way to the end, and you should have exactly even number of stitches for you to be able to line up everything properly. So do this until you get to the end here. When you reach here, come back and I will show you guys how to then start the next row. All right, so we have reached just the top of the work here. So as you can see, we have 2 stitches to go. In the second last stitch here, we're going to go through both loops and just pull that. Oh, I lost the string that was in my darning needle first, so we'll put that back in here. Okay, so we're just gonna go into that second last stitch and go into both loops on each side, and then pull. And the reason we're doing that here is because we want it to be evenly strong. And then you're going to do that for the final stitch as well. Okay, so you're going to do that in the final stitch, and then one more in the final stitch, just like we did at the beginning, and that locks it nice and tight. And as you can see, this is where we joined the work right here. It's barely visible, it just looks like another row of the single crochet stitches that we did. Then you take off your darning needle and you're left with just this round part of the project here. And then now we're ready to work on the shorts and do the next part of it. And for the first row is going to be a half double crochet row, and then we're going to work with double crochet stitches for the rest of the project. But I will show you quickly how to do this first row and then the beginning of the second row, and then I will have you guys work on your own. Okay, so as you can see here, I've actually already done a chain one. There's a chain one right here. If you want me to show you how to do it, I will just undo that final part. So just like this, you do a chain one, and then you turn your work, and then you slip stitch on top of this first stitch on the other side like this. And now that you have that, you're going to chain one, and then in the next stitch you're going to do a half double crochet, just like I said. Oops, let's start that over like this. Half double crochet, and then you're going to go into the next stitch and do a half double crochet. Okay, and then into the next stitch right here and do a half double crochet. And then you're just going to keep going with this movement here until you get back to the beginning of our project right here. And again, what I call stitches is, as you can see, these sections that are coming out like this, and these sections that go in like this. So you put one stitch on top here, one stitch here, one stitch on top, one stitch here. That is what I call stitches. Okay, so you're going to pretty much do the half double crochets around until you come back to this section here. When you get gotten back here, come back and I will show you how to start the next row, which is the double crochet row, and then we will be able to continue that for the rest of the project. Okay, see you guys in a bit. All right, so I have gone ahead and completed the row of the half double crochets, and so now I'm back at the beginning here where we're going to be joining these two sides together. So I'm going to just go ahead and do a slip stitch on top of the double crochet from the previous row like that, and that locks the two sides together. And then we're going to start the double crochet rows, which is going to be the repeat row for the rest of this project. Okay, so we're going to do a chain of two, so 1, 2, then turn our work, and then not this stitch here because this is the one connected to that. We're going to go into the next one and do a double crochet stitch, and then go into the next stitch and do a double crochet stitch. Okay, and then into the next stitch right here and do a double crochet stitch. And you're going to continue to do this all around until you come back to the beginning here. When you have completed your final double crochet in this stitch right here, you're going to then slip stitch on top here, and then chain 2, turn, and then continue to do the double crochets around again. When you get to the connecting side, you do a slip stitch on top of the chain 2, and then just continue to repeat that until you have the length that you're looking for. Now, when I'm talking about the length, I'm talking about from where you want the shorts to start on top. Maybe you want it to cover your belly button. Maybe you want it to be just a little bit below your belly button, but then you have to measure it all the way to where you would end up splitting the legs, where you end up creating the two legs of the shorts. Okay, so I'm going to do about 8 to 10 inches, something like that, because I want my shorts to go up, so they're going to be a little bit kind of like high-waisted booty shorts. So I'm going to do about 8 to 10 inches, and then I will come back and show you guys how to create the legs for the shorts, where we can work on each leg first and then the other. So go ahead and do that. When you have the size that you're looking for, come back so we can move on to the next part of the project. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have completed the portion of the shorts that I wanted to do. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 rows in the double crochet stitches here. But more importantly, I have the number of inches that I'm looking for is about 8. So as you can see here, it's just right a tiny bit over 8 here, or just a tiny bit before 8, I should say. But that's pretty much the where I'm gonna stop with the 12 rows of that. And as you can see as well, I have already marked out where I'm going to be doing the leg parts of the shorts. So what I did was I counted all of my stitches and it came up to 110, and then I divided that by 2, so I have equal number of stitches on each side, which is about 55 stitches on each of these sides. Okay, all right, now with that done, I'm going to pretty much finish this off here and disconnect. So without losing where I put my stitch markers, I'm going to just fasten this section off here. I've already done my slip stitch on the other side, so I'm just going to actually cut it. So get my scissors, cut that guy off here, and then I'm going to just slip stitch and have that done like that. Okay, so that section is done. And then I'm going to go back in the middle here where I'm going to start working on one of the leg opening, and then when I finish one, then I will move on to the other one after. But for now, I'm going to show you how to work on the leg opening here. Okay, so the first thing is you're going to take your yarn and you're going to do a slip stitch just like that, or slip knot just like that, and then you're going to pretty much remove one of the stitch markers here, and then you're going to bring your yarn through that stitch where the stitch marker was, just like this. Okay, and now that I have that here, I'm going to do a number of chains. That is going to be giving me this section, the middle section of the shorts, and it's also going to depend on how wide you want your leg opening to be. So measure the circumference of your leg, of your thigh, or the biggest part of your thigh, and then do the number of chains here to correspond. When you connect these to the chain from here to here, you should be able to correspond to that. Okay, so for me, I'm going to do a chain of 20. So we'll see, and then I may add more. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20. Okay, so this is going to be something that I will connect to this side, and I think the chain 20 is enough because that's going to be the opening, the leg opening for my shorts. Okay, so I'm going to now just remove the stitch marker on the other side while I hold my chain here straight, and then I'm going to pretty much slip stitch to that side like this. Okay, so now I have this section in the middle like that, and then I'm going to go ahead and do I'm going to do a chain of 3. So 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to go ahead and do a double crochet in the next stitch. Actually, I'm going to do a chain of 2, not 3. 3 is too long. And I'm going to do a double crochet in the next stitch, and this chain 2 counts as a double crochet. And then I'm just going to work my double crochets all along until I get back to where the chain is, where I will then work along the chain itself. But for now, just work your double crochets all around until you get back to where this chain is, and then come back to the video and I will show you how to work your double crochets along the chain until you get to the other side, and then we will continue this pretty much all throughout the project. Okay, so go ahead and work yourself until you get to here. Okay, so I have gone ahead and done the double crochet stitches here, and now I am back to where I need to go across the chain of 20 that we created to divide the 2 sides of the legs for the shorts. And so what I'm gonna do here is I'm just going to make sure I hold the chain straight like this. As you can see, just hold it straight like so. And then I am going to, so I did my last double crochet here, so I'm going to go into this stitch, the first stitch of the chain, and do my double crochet there. And then I'm going to move on to the next stitch and do my double crochet on top of that. And then I'm going to move on to the next stitch, and I'm just going to work across the stitches here until I get to the other side. So go ahead and do the double crochets along the chain. When you get back to this section here, come back and I will show you what to do next. Okay, my lovelies, so I have completed doing the double crochets, as you can see here, on the chain 20 that we created. And as you can see, that's my final double crochet in that final stitch there. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pivot it a little bit this way because we're going to be working along on this side. And now that I have it here, I have my chain 2 that we created. And on top of that chain 2, I'm just going to slip stitch like this, okay? So now, as you can see, this side has a leg that continuously goes around like this, okay? Okay, so for the next row, for the leg, we're going to chain 2. So 1, 2, and then we're going to turn, okay? And then we're going to work our double crochets back around. So we're going to just go into the next stitch here and do our double crochet, and into the next stitch and do a double crochet, and into the next. And we're going to do this all the way across until we come back here. You will do your final double crochet in this stitch right here, and then you're going to slip stitch on top of the chain 2 that we just created right here. You're going to slip stitch into that chain 2, turn your work, and then work around again until you do that about 5 times. So we're going to do 5 rows to see if that is enough for our leg hole or not. If not, we can add some more after. But what I do is I will do the 5 rows, and I will actually try it on. I will actually put these shorts on and see on this side that I've completed the 5 rows. Is it too short? Like, I know they're booty shorts, but are they too short that I'm, showing myself, or are they enough coverage? And if they are, if there's enough coverage, I will stop at five rows. If I don't have enough coverage, I will continue to make more rows until I have the coverage that I'm looking for. And when I have the number of rows that I require, then I will come back and let you guys know how many rows I did, and then how we can repeat and do the same on the other side. But for now, let's do the number of rows that we require to have full coverage on this side. Or if you don't want full coverage, then that is also obviously your discretion, and you can just do the 5 rows and stop there. Okay, so I will see you guys when you have completed this one side. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and completed this one side of the leg, and just obviously, as you can see, I did a lot more stitches than I had said previously. I think I just underestimated. I thought 5 stitches would be enough, but it doesn't cover much of my back at all. The front looks good, but the back was very, very revealing, and that is not the point of these shorts. I wanted to cover me, and it could be because I have a big backside. So if you're maybe more thinner and flatter, this would probably fit you when you do only 5 rows here, but I ended up doing 10. So with this amount of stitches, amount of rows, it does cover me comfortably. It's still really booty shorty, if that is even a word, but it does cover me to a point where I'm comfortable with it, okay? They will probably end up being more like house shorts than using them outside. So just because of my own comfort with how short they are. And you could probably continue this if you want them to be a lot longer and more something you can wear outside. I will do a tutorial for that, just so you can do shorts that are a little bit longer and full coverage. But the point of this is to do booty shorts, okay? All right, so I have my 10 rows completed here. So that means this one side of the leg opening is completed. So what I will do here is I have already slip stitched it, and I'm going to just cut the yarn somewhere here. I don't want to waste too much because I don't have too much of this yarn left, and I'm just gonna do a chain 1 here to lock that section in. Okay, so now we're going to start on this side. And to start on this side, we're going to make sure we start working on the inside side first. And that's because when we worked on this side, we did the inside side first as well. Hopefully I'm making sense to you guys. So what I will do in that case then is I will flip it like this. and I will go to where we have the start of the other one. I will do a slip stitch, or slip knot I should say, just like that. And then in this very stitch right here, I'm going to go in and I'm going to come through like this. I'm just going to hold these guys here, and then I'm going to do my chain 2 here. Okay, now that I have my chain 2, I'm going to hold these 2 strings so I can weave them in as I go. Then from here, let's also kind of zoom it so you can see. And so I'm going to go into this stitch here with a double crochet, just like we did previously. And then I'm going to go into the next stitch with a double crochet. So nothing is changed here at all. We're just literally doing the same thing we've been doing throughout the entire project, with the exception of the waistband. So you just do your double crochet stitches along the perimeter or along the side, the circle of the pants itself, okay, or the leg, one of the legs. So you're going to continue to do this like this. I'm just gonna finish weaving these guys in here, and then one more to have these guys fully weaved in like that. So we're going to continue doing these all the way. And as you can see, this is where we had our chain 20 to create the leg holes here. So I will have you guys work the double crochets all around, all here, until you get to here. And that is just so I can show you how to work these 20 stitches when you go across it like this, okay? So go ahead and work your double crochet stitches until you get to the bridge here. When you get to here, come back and I'll show you what to do next. Okay, my lovelies, so I have worked the side here, so from the beginning of the bridge here all the way to the other side of the bridge. And of course, as you can see, we need to continue over this section of the short, so the middle section of it. So I'm going to go ahead and just do a double crochet right there, so that corner stitch there, like that. And then we're going to carry on and do a double crochet stitch in this stitch here. And then we're going to carry on and continue to do the normal stitches. So this is just a way to bridge that section here to move on to the other side. So this side is pretty much the other side of the chain that we worked with. So you're just going to do a stitch pretty much on top of the stitch from the other side, okay? And you're just going to work these stitches all the way again until you come to this section here, and that is where we will chain our 2 and turning and starting the work backwards, so working back where we just started, okay? So go ahead and finish this section here. When you get to right here, the last stitch should be right here. Come back and I will show you how to join this side to this side and how to start the next row, and then how to continue that. So that's going to be a repeat for the remaining of the 9 rows to go, okay? So see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovely, so now I have the other side to connect here. So as you can see, this is the leg here, and now I have this other side to connect to where we started this first row. And I'm just going to go on top of the chain 2 that we created and do a slip stitch, okay? And then I'm going to chain 2 and turn my work. And then I'm going to work backwards until I come back to this section here. And then when I'm back to this section, I do my chain, a slip stitch on top of the chain 2, and then do 2 chains, turn, and then continue to do this for the total of 10 rows on this side as well to match the other side, okay? So as you can see here, we're just going to repeat what we did on this side. So this is my second row on this side. I will have 8 more after I finish this, 8 more to go. But you're going to do your double crochets all around. When you do your final double crochet in here, you're going to slip stitch to this chain to the top of the 2 chains that we did, and then chain 2 and turn your work, and then work your double crochets, and then repeat that until you have 10 rows on this side. And when you have 10 rows, then you will have the same length of this leg side, this side will pretty much come up to be the same as this side, which is the side that we have already completed. Okay, so go ahead and finish these off, and I'll see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and completed the second leg hole here, and as you can see, both sides are done. So I ended up doing 10 rows on this side after we started separating the legs, and I have 10 rows on this side as well, so they're even. And fortunately for me, I just ran out of yarn as I was finishing the project, but little bit that was left, I already did cut it off. But yeah, so this is pretty much your shorts here. So these are booty shorts on me, as you see in the pictures. But for some people, if you don't have a big back, as some of us do, you may have had to do the legs of the shorts a little bit shorter for it to be booty shorts per se. But if you do it as long as I did, it may be a little bit too long, and therefore not as booty short as you want it to be. So this is something that is really important for you to try, especially after you have separated and you have one leg size started. Do a couple of rows at a time and keep trying it on, and stop wherever that fits you the way you want it to fit you, and then disconnect the yarn and connect it to the other side, just like I did on this one. Okay, so this is pretty much the end here. What I will do is I will just quickly go ahead and weave my ends in. So I do have this end here to weave in. I also have the other end here to weave in, and of course the start of our project here that also needs to be weaved in. But that's gonna be pretty much the end of the project here. So hopefully you guys enjoyed making this with me. This is the first shorts I make on the channel. After almost 150 videos, I am finally making my first shorts. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and I made it simple so that you guys can actually follow along. And of course, as time goes by, I will be making shorts that are a little bit more on the complex side, so you guys can learn how to do different styles and different patterns in shorts. Okay, but for now, thank you so much. If you're looking to see other projects that I've completed, please go ahead and check the channel out. It's called Simply Angel Tia. And of course, subscribe if you have not yet done so, and give the video a thumbs up if you like it. And let me know what you think about these first pair of shorts that I've made in the comment section below. All right, thank you so much again, you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.